All right. Here we go on YouTube. All right. Yep. So here we are. And want to go ahead and say hello to everybody. I have recently had one of my subscribers reach out to me and needs a little bit of help with relationships. So we're doing a special relationship and breakup support video. We're going to get her kind of sticky situation story. She's agreed to do this on a live stream, and it's something that I want to open up to everybody when I do these live streams. You don't only have to talk to me in live chat, but I do have a channel on my Discord where I can get people in one on one to kind of express how they feel, what's going on, maybe their breakup situation with me, so that I can give you my best advice. And it's probably going to be a lot easier for me to give you my best advice than for you to explain what's going on via voice. So this is something that I always encourage my viewers to do. If you do have any kind of questions or you need help with a breakup, your heart's hurting, whatever, exactly what I want to do. And I want to go ahead and welcome Jane, is what we're going to call this young lady. She's 17. You're from the UK, is that right, Jane?
Mm, I'm from the Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay, that's right. That's right, girl. All right, so from the Netherlands, we have Jane here. She is. Let me ask you this first of all before you explain your situation. On a scale of 1 to 10, have you ever been to a doctor and the doctor says, your arm's hurting or you have a whatever, your throat's sore or whatever, and the doctor says on a scale of 1 to 10, how high is the pain? I'm going to ask you, Jane, on a scale of 1 to 10. Sounds like a confusing situation, but also right now, how much is your heart hurting? If I could, your heartache on a scale of 1 to 10 right now. Maybe it's not at all. I don't know.
It's like really like fluctuating. Like at one moment I'm fine, and then the other moment I'm not, and it's just like a roller coaster.
Okay, I can certainly understand that. And how confused are you on a scale of 1 to 10 right now?
Oh, I'm all the way up to 10.
All the way to 10, and so that's kind of why you reached out to me. All right, so let's go
Yeah.
ahead and start this live stream, hun, if you don't mind. Explain to me what's going on. Explain to my viewers what's going on. And people in the stream, if you have any advice for or anything like that, definitely put it in the comments below, or in the comments on the live stream here. Let's go ahead and find out what's going on with Jane, one of my subscribers for a long time here, reaching out to me to look for my advice. So, what's going on, Jane?
Yeah, well, I've been I've had like quite a the longest lasting relationship I've been in um has ended a second time because it has already ended once. Um but we got back together, and now it's ended as well.
Okay.
And um yeah, there's a lot of like cloudiness about a chance of there being a third time of getting back together or not. And um a lot of confusion if I want it or if I don't want that.
Okay.
um because me and my ex were still chatting every now and then, and things seem to be going good, but then as soon as they go good, they just fall down again, and we get mad at each other. Or not necessarily mad, but like um, he gets a bit frustrated because he's been experiencing burnout. He's heavily depressed. He has a son that he can't see. He
Hmm.
has um, he has lost like 40 people to the virus.
What? 40 people? Like have
Yeah,
died?
he yeah.
Wow.
Well, he works at a elderly care home where
Oh, I see.
um it is, and he does really care about those people there.
Sure.
And
Okay.
so
I think you have to have
yeah,
a yeah, I think you have to have a big heart to work at one of those kind of places. How old is he, if I might ask? Jane?
he recently turned 34.
Okay. So much like my other moderator who came to me for advice in a relationship where I think she's a little bit older than you, 20 or something like that, and she's dating a 41-year-old. You're dating a man who is much older than you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Jane, and I want to get down to the bottom of this and what's going on in the relationship, but you're really young. Okay, why would you be interested in somebody twice your age? If we can start there.
Well, um, I used to be voice chatting with a group of like with two other people,
Hmm.
um, but um, they've gotten complaints. Well, one of them had um, a girlfriend that decided, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with you two talking that way," and the other one, um, well, it's actually three guys and me. The other one, um, because he was streaming, got a lot of different types of complaints of like, oh, you can't make those types of jokes around someone who is
Young,
16 at that time.
right? Okay, are you still there, Jane? I don't think I lost you. No.
Oh yeah, sorry, my mic disconnected.
Okay.
Um,
So let's call this guy Joe that you're involved with, or that you recently broken up a second time with, and he's 34, works in a nursing home, right? Or an elderly care
yeah,
center. Okay.
but that's only like his. He has two jobs. He also has his own company.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, the thing is, we never planned on having a relationship. Um, because he was morally against it as well.
Hmm.
Like I met him through one of the guys that I often voice chatted because um, they were friends, and when I was in a call with um, someone else, he got in the call as well. And the thing is, we started making jokes and stuff, and as the other guy was pushing me away because of everything that was happening, um, my ex decided started like talking to me more often. I went to him more often,
Hmm.
and we had a great time, and we were like best friends, voice chatting all the time. And the thing is, I often made jokes of like, oh, um um like things happening, but we both were like, no, that's never going to happen. The age difference is just too big.
Right. But when
Yeah.
was it? When was this? When you were talking to him, and before you get in the relationship, when did you start getting involved with this guy?
About the same time that I lost like contact with my friends.
Okay. When was
Um
which was how long? How long have you been involved with this Joe guy?
I actually don't know how long it's been.
Okay.
Um
You don't know
I
how long
know the
you.
relation
Go ahead.
I think it's like the relationship started on the day after Valentine's Day.
Okay.
That's when the relationship started.
Hmm.
And I think I've known him like quite a while before that,
Okay.
but I can't say with confidence how long. Probably like at least 2 months, if I had to guess.
So where's this guy
Probably.
live?
The UK.
Okay, so he lives in the UK, so it's a long distance relationship. Have you
Yeah.
ever met him in real life?
No.
Okay.
We wanted to meet during summer break, but um my mom said like, "Oh, um no." My
Okay.
mom didn't want that.
Sure.
And well, I said, "Well, I can leave the house anytime, so what if I'll just go behind your back?" And my mom was just like, "Well,
Wow.
you wouldn't be my daughter anymore."
Okay.
And when I talked to it about my ex about planning to do it behind my mom's back, he was like, "No, I actually wouldn't feel comfortable if your mom wasn't there because again, the age difference um really makes me think like I should be more responsible basically."
Hmm. So, so you've been involved with this guy off and on for approximately 9 or 10 months, okay? And you've known him longer.
Mm.
It's a long distance relationship. He lives in the UK. You live in the Netherlands. You've told your mom about him. I'm assuming you showed him pictures. You showed your mom pictures of him. Oh, mom, he's really handsome, whatever. But you've told your mom how old he is, and your mom didn't like his age. I'm assuming, right?
She knew that we were friends, and back when we were friends, she already had something against him.
Okay.
Um,
What was that?
but
His
she
age
had
or something else?
about his age
Okay.
mainly.
Right.
But my mom has never been like too fond of me talking to anyone
Right.
that's slightly above. Or apparently, recently also she got upset about someone I talked to who was slightly under my age. So
Right. She's protective of you. She doesn't want you to leave home, and that's a natural. As a father myself, I can understand that. It's going to be hard for me when my son, who's 15 now, wants to move out. So as parents, we have a natural tendency to want to keep our kids to ourselves and never let them grow up and never let them, mingle with the opposite sex. We don't want our kids to even have their first kiss until we're 30. Now, that's just something we say a lot of times to be funny, but it is kind of a natural thing. Like, we don't want to let our kids grow up, so that a lot of that might be that. But I'm sure the age, like she does know how old he is, sure that's a concern. She
yeah,
cares about you, Jane. So she doesn't want you to get hurt, right? Because a lot of times when somebody's that much older than you, they're looking for, um, they may not be looking for, but with experience, you'll learn that a lot of times guys that much older are, for whatever reason, going to just end up hurting you, being able to walk away. So you got to give her the respect that your mother has, deserve. She's raised you. She cares about
yeah,
you. And I guarantee you, Jane, right now, she loves you way more than this Joe guy does. Okay? So let's get that
mhm,
right out of the way, right? And if you feel any sadness, if your heart's breaking, if you don't like the words I'm telling you, I understand. If you cry, that's fine. But I'm gonna be completely honest when you come to me for help. So I know this probably isn't what you want to hear. It isn't endearing, like probably you want to hear. You want to hear me tell you, "Oh, Joe loves you. I think you should elope with him, etc., etc." But I'm telling you the cold hard truth that despite your feelings for this guy, and it's a romance, and he's the opposite sex, and I understand the attraction, your mother knows you and has raised you for a kid, cares about you, and loves you way more than this guy does. So let's make
yeah.
sure we understand that first of all, okay? Before we go any further. So you've been involved with this guy for at least like 9 months, and
Yeah,
you broke up. When was your first breakup approximately?
I really can't remember to be honest. The first breakup was like such a long time ago.
Okay.
Um,
What was it about? Why did you break up?
um, he was starting to feel a lot like um I because we were already like kind of every now and then a bit in well, I don't want to call them fights, but it was just like um I would say something and he would just be bumped out the entire time, and I don't know how that came to be.
Hmm.
um he also says that like a lot of the time he feels like um he said that I am not someone who is able to make you happy, and
He said he couldn't make you
he
happy.
yeah.
Okay.
And I've also said to him, well, you don't really need to make me happy. Um,
Okay.
and
So
what I,
one thing I want you to understand, Jane, is you're really young in these relationships. A lot of times when people break up with you, the reasons they give you for breaking up are BS. Okay. A lot of times they're completely opposite of what they're saying. So just a gut feeling here, I don't know. But when he's telling you, hey, I can't make you happy, a lot of times those things are vice versa what they're saying. So it might have very well been that he was saying, "Can't make me happy." We just don't know. So this is why I just recently made a video talking about how if somebody breaks up with you, don't worry about the reasons why, because a lot of times the reason why they're breaking up with you, either they don't know themselves, or if they do know, they're not going to tell you the truth because it's already hard enough for them because they don't want to hurt you, right? And it may be that he
Mhm.
told you the truth. It may be that he felt like he couldn't make you happy, but I doubt it. Okay? I doubt that was completely true as to the reason. And it might not have been the opposite either. It might not have been that you weren't making. Could have been the restraints of a long distance relationship, something that you really have a lot of control over. This first breakup, did it come after you told him that you couldn't see him because of your mom? Because your mom didn't want him seeing you?
Um, well, not directly. It was like quite a while after, like
Okay.
months after that already.
Okay.
So,
So you
like,
told him, so that how long were you broke up approximately? First time.
we were the first time we only broke up for 2 days.
Okay. So not a real devastating breakup. You break up. It was a quick breakup. You got back together.
Yeah,
You're working fine. Now this recent breakup happened when?
Um, I don't know exactly, but it does feel like quite a while ago.
Are we
Um,
talking a month or 3 months or two
like
weeks?
I would, if I had to guess, 2 months. But now that I
3 months.
think about it, his birthday was in November, and we kind of like waited definitely more than his birthday, um, between the time. So actually, I think it's actually more like closer to 3 months or
Okay.
even
You've
more
been
than that.
broken up for 3 months.
I guess so. I have really difficult time with
Okay.
keeping
Timelines.
track of time.
Gotcha. Time goes by quick. I understand that. So since the
Yeah.
breakup, it sounds like it wasn't really a clean breakup from what you kind of told me a little bit about. As in the fact you said you're still fighting quite a bit. Now, do you think that the last time you
Yeah.
broke up 3 months ago or whatever it was, do you think that it was due to a lot of fighting?
Um, I mean, the thing is, it's not really fighting as I would call it. It's like, I would say something and he would just be bummed out the entire time, and then I would try to figure out why he's bummed out, and then he would um get upset because he feels like he's wasting my time with trying to talk to me and stuff. I don't know. It's very confusing for me as well.
Right.
Um, he definitely has like a lot of things on his mind, so he often doesn't have a lot of time, which is another reason why um because to be honest, the reason why I believe him when he said that he felt like he couldn't make me happy, especially the first time we broke up, because he was the one crying the most,
He was
even though he
crying.
was breaking up with me. Yeah, he was,
Okay.
and he was like texting me, and then eventually he said like, "Oh, I wish I could do Control Z," um, and that was after the first time, and he was just like, "Well, um," he started like sending messages and saying that he hasn't stopped crying, and then when we got into voice chat, um, we talked a bit, and then he was like, "Hey, yeah." Or I asked him if he was doing all right because I've received all these messages from him, and he said, "Well, yeah. Um,
Crying.
I kind of feel like if you really love someone, you should try and work things out and stuff."
Hmm. He said that, or you said that?
He said that
Hmm.
to me, and then he asked me if I wanted him back, and I said yes. And I feel till this day stupid for that decision. Not just because of going back, but maybe, because of how short we were apart when we got back.
Right.
Like, of course, you're going to be a bit sad about like, and you can't think clearly after a breakup that after only 2 days.
Right. Yeah. 2 days isn't long enough to really reflect on what happened, how you feel. A lot of times in a breakup, you probably need at least 2 to 3 weeks. I would suggest at least 3 weeks to get kind of clarity to kind of evaluate what this person means to you. Evaluate maybe, is this person right for you, right? Evaluate the relationship, what might be going right, what might be going wrong, and really understand how you feel about this person. Because have you ever? You're only 17, but you've probably had friends and stuff like that have been involved with guys and other people. And it's a lot of times, have you noticed, Jane, that it's really easy to see problems, like maybe your friend is dating a guy, right, or school or whatever, and you can see that this guy is just bad for her, right? He treats her bad or whatever. But it's really easy for you to see that, but a lot of times when they're involved, they can't see it. They don't understand, or they don't like you for saying these things because they can't see the same things you can. But then once they in the relationship or the relationship ends, you talk to them, and you kind of tell them, like easy, like I told you so, and then they see it after they've been out of that relationship for a while. So I
I
guess what
mean,
I'm saying is, a lot of times it's a lot easier for somebody to see things when their heart's not involved, when they're not involved in the middle of that relationship, and that's kind of why you need that time in a break after a breakup to kind of get that clarity. But here it is, you say you've been out of this relationship for like 3 months, right?
yeah.
But have you actually been out of a relationship? Are you still doing the same kind of things with this man, like having intimate talks, having long talks, and talking every day? It's just not called, you guys aren't calling it a relationship. Or have you guys actually been not talking for the most part?
We have definitely been talking and making sure that the other person is all right and type of stuff. Um,
Okay.
like most of our messages consist of like, "Are you okay? Hope you're doing all right," and that type of stuff.
Okay.
And um, yeah,
All right, Jane. So what
but
else?
it's
He broke it off the last time, right? As well.
like,
He
well,
broke.
no, kinda. It's I broke up with him because I feel like I was putting a lot of stress on him, or he was just too stressful to be able to handle a relationship.
Sure.
But the thing is, I said it just after something happened, and the next morning I was like, "Oh, I wish I didn't say that." And I'm like, "Well, is it okay if we pretended that I didn't break up with you?" And he was like, "Well, thing is, it's happened, and I think it's way better for you this way,
Okay.
um, and better for me as well." That's what he said, and
All right.
so
So here's a
I
problem. First of all, Jane, and I know you got some more stuff we want to talk about, but okay. So this isn't. First of all, the whole relationship isn't really fair. Okay. You're dating a
Mhm.
guy that's in his mid 30s that has a kid. And honestly, let's be honest. And I know this is probably going to stab you, but you're kind of a kid yourself still, right? So this guy's had a kid. He's had relationships. He's been out there. And this is really one of your first real relationships, right? This is one of your first, probably most intense relationships. Would you agree to that?
definitely one of my most intense ones.
Okay. So the problem with this not being fair here is that you're involved with somebody much older than you that has a lot more experience, and he's basically he has a kid and he's dating a woman much younger than himself. And I understand women mature a lot quicker than men do, and I understand the desire to maybe date an older guy. But 34 when you're 17 is, and I'm telling you the same kind of thing I told my other moderator who came to me, who was dating a 41-year-old. um, age is just a number. But when you're 17, when you're 18, when you're 19, you should be really looking for guys at least in their 20s, not up in their 30s. And I'm not saying this guy's a bad guy. This is nothing personal against him. Uh, this is more about, you need to get more experience in dating, especially before you handle an intense relationship with somebody that much older than you. The big reason for that, Jane, is because you you need to understand that there's going to be guys closer to your age who are probably going to have less clash with you, And it sounds like a lot of this clash that you guys are having is due to you're dating a man that's working and that has jobs and that has kids and he has these stresses that you've never really been through. So it's really hard for you to relate to him on what he's going through, even though I'm sure you can listen to him, you can understand, you can empathize with him. But until you've been there yourself, you're not really going to be able to support him in what he needs and the kind of support that he needs. And that might be one reason why he's not exactly happy. On the same token, um, he's quite a bit older than you, so it's going to be kind of hard for him to relate to you in an understanding fashion on the things that you're going through at your age. Because he's wanting to talk to you about, hey, I got this bill, or I got this problem at work, or I got this, and this, or this person just died on me, and I really like this person, and what you can empathize with him, especially in a long distance relationship, it's going to be really hard for you guys to really connect at a level that's going to offer both of you uh, satisfaction, I guess, in those answers. So the big thing here that I want to go with though is you had this breakup 2 or 3 months ago where you kind of said something like and then he kind of agreed, hey, maybe this is for the best, right? That we break up, but you guys have been talking so much. Hey, how you doing today? How you doing today? And that you're really not getting that closure. The breakup is not giving either of you a chance to reflect on what you really need, on if you're really happy in that relationship or not, if you need to move on, or if you really want to stay together. So I understand this is the most intense relationship you've ever had, Jane. And I understand he's probably the
Mhm.
most mature guy that you've ever dated, especially considering his age. And I understand you have feelings and you feel like you love this guy, things like that. What I want you to do for yourself here, and this is my advice, is talk to him next time and say, hey, I really value you. I appreciate all the time that you've given me. I appreciate your feelings for me, but we talked about having a breakup a few months ago. And I think we both need to not talk to each other, no text messages, no emails, no calls for at least 2 weeks. I mean 2 weeks. I don't mean 3 days. I don't mean 4 days. I don't mean a week. I want you to do it for a minimum of 2 weeks. Can you do that for me, Jane? Like stay away from him, no contact, no messages, no how are you, no messaging him and say I'm really sad today. Nothing. Okay.
Um,
Um, can you do that for me?
that's definitely difficult as he literally during this conversation just sent a picture of him uh,
Okay. So
himself.
if you have to, what I want you to do, if he does send messages, if he does send pictures, I want you to not respond. If you find out that you can't go without responding, then I need you to block him. And I'm telling you this for your own good. Okay. Um, I think
Yeah.
that once you have a couple of weeks, 3 weeks of not contacting him and not being in constant contact with this guy, you'll see things a lot clearer. Okay, as far as why he may not be the best idea for you, why he may not be somebody that you may realize that your feelings that you feel right now for him aren't quite as intense as what they really are. But you really need this time, and there's no better time to do this right now than while you guys are supposedly in a breakup. That's what a breakup
Um,
is. A breakup doesn't mean that you're constantly talking to each other and constantly sending each other pictures and texts and talking. A breakup means breaking up and going different directions and giving each other time to reflect. And I understand that's scary. Okay. I understand
mm,
you right now, you're like, oh, I don't want to live without this guy. I can't live without this guy in my life. But I really want you to do this for yourself and for him if you really care about him. So if you can't go without responding to him if he sends you messages, then I need you to let him know, hey, I'm going to block you. I think that we need to break up. I think we need to do this for at least 2 or 3 weeks and reevaluate how we feel about each other. In the first of the year. I think the first of 2021 would be a good time to maybe reach out to him and have a talk with him. But I need you to not respond to him, to not communicate with him anymore. Just tell him, say, hey, I think we need to break up. We need to do this. We need some time apart to really see how we feel about each other. Because you want him to, Jane, you want to know if he's really that serious about you as well, right? You want to know that he can go 3 weeks and do okay, right? Without constantly messaging you or looking for you to hold him up or looking for you to respond to him and give him encouragement. right? This is a grown man, right? He doesn't need to reach out to a 17-year-old to make it through the day-to-day life. This is probably going to be harder on you for him, even though he says he's crying no less. But let's go somewhere else. You mentioned that there were other things that have happened during this breakup that are confusing to you as well. Want to explain
Yeah.
that?
Well, um, I noticed that um because I'm having a breakup, and I I'm not unfamiliar with this feeling, but I've like been crushing on everyone around me.
Crushing? What do you mean that?
Uh,
What do you mean by crushing? Like
As in, like, I just can't stop myself from flirting with people around me, and I'm like, oh, that person's really cute and stuff. And it's like,
hmm
I don't think that if anything comes from me and one of the people's that I've been crushing on, I don't think that's real. I think I'm going through like a heavy rebound phase or something like that. And I don't want to use someone as a rebound.
right,
Um, I mean, one way that I cope with breakups is by, or when I'm losing someone, is like by meeting a lot of new people.
hmm
Downside is that sometimes I start crushing on those new people,
okay,
and um, but I don't want to start anything with anyone new because I know that probably is just me trying to get over my previous relationship.
right. What you're doing is
Uh,
perfectly normal, Jane. So, fact that you're showing interest in other guys, first of all, it's completely normal for somebody your age, right, to be looking and noticing other guys, right, and noticing other people that you might like, wow, that you might feel a spark with, or you might feel a spark of attraction for, or whatever. That's completely normal. But in your situation where you're going through a breakup with a man that you've really felt intense feelings for, and now you guys are supposedly breaking up, and you've been talking back and forth, like, hey, how are you? How are you today? How are you today? Kind of thing. The breakup is still there, right? Because you guys are not telling each other, hey, I love you, I care about you, you guys aren't doing the same kind of things you were involved, right?
mhm.
So
I mean,
what you're doing is completely normal. So to some degree, you kind of feel like heartbroken a little bit, like you said on this, it fluctuates, right? But you probably more than that, you probably feel like you failed at a relationship, right? You feel like you messed up a relationship. So it's completely natural for you to be looking for validation, right? And interest from other people, especially people that you have a spark for, especially the people you find attractive. Completely normal for you to be looking for that, maybe more than normal. While you're going through a breakup. Okay. So this is going to be really, really hard to. This is going to continue to go on, and you're going to repeat this cycle of your heartbreak fluctuating. This is why you're talking about your heartbreak is fluctuating, Jane. The level of pain you feel is fluctuating. This is why you're looking at other people and you're kind of reaching out, like, oh, you're crushing, as you call it, on other guys, because right now you are in a, I would call it, with Joe here, the 34-year-old that you had a relationship with, you are kind of like swirling around and around and around, and you're not getting the time you need. He's not getting the time he needs to properly digest and basically process what happened, what this relationship is to you, what he means to you, what maybe his faults are, if you can live with those faults, if you can actually live with somebody that's that much older than you. You need to process how your mom feels about him. That's something that's going to be important. You to understand how she feels and why she doesn't like him, and why she thinks maybe you should date somebody younger or closer or whatever she feels. So you need to. I think your mom's going to be a great resource for you to talk to you about your feelings. Probably much better than I am. I understand it's easier to kind of reach out to me and look for answers, but I think your mom probably knows you way better than I do, and your mom's going to be a great resource for you. And I'm sure she's willing to talk to you and let you, kind of tell her how you feel. And I bet you that if you show this video to your mother about you talking to me, I bet you your mother would agree with me that you need to give yourself at least 2 or 3 weeks without talking to him at all. Okay. So I would tell him, let him know what's going on. Say, hey, we talked about a breakup, a while back, but we're really not going through a breakup because we're constantly talking. So I definitely think you should talk to this guy and say, hey, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. And if you send me messages, if you send me photos, reach out to me, I'm going to have to block you. So ask him, please don't make me block you. Please just respect me and respect that I need time to process what we have, right? And he should definitely do that, especially being a grown man. He should definitely respect the fact that you need time to figure out what you want. Okay, so your
Yeah,
mom's
I
going to be
mean
a great
that's
resource for her. But you mentioned something else about somebody else likes you, or you hurt somebody else, or something like that. What was that about? Now I know you said you're crushing on
um
other people, but what
yeah,
else is going on here?
um I was like in uh I was in a voice chat with like two other people.
Mm-hmm.
Um and we decided to pull out a prank on someone else saying like um and this all started as an innocent prank like so Infiltrate would message this same person and wow, I just got a message of info um
Ignore him, okay, please.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Good
No, but
practice to ignore him and focus on what you're telling me.
yeah, no, so this other person would message this girl, one of his friends, um, hey, um, do you? I just got into a relationship, and then I would message that person introducing myself, and then we would like make a joke about so I would take a picture of a random 40-year-old of the internet and say, do you think he would mind dating this?
Mm-hmm.
um kind of making a joke, pretend as if he's being catfished even though he isn't.
Mm-hmm.
um and after that joke ended, because it was a joke with the three of us, um me and the other person asked in the privates if, hey, do you feel like do you want to see if we can get the other person to believe in our relationship as well? So during the chat I was just like, hey, I know we just made a joke about me being a catfish girlfriend, but I was wondering if you would want to have an actual relationship, even though we both already agreed that it was fake, but to
Right.
prank his friend. um And the thing is, he never expected his friend to believe it. And I um I kind of did, but so now we're in a fake relationship, and so we make other people think we're in a relationship even though we're not. Um and it's kind of fun. We can flirt with each other a bit and stuff. While we both know that there's nothing, but um his friend recently told me that he was happy because he actually noticed how his friend was acting different um, whenever I came into the chat.
Okay.
And that kind of makes me wonder, what if this person who I have a fake relationship with actually has a crush on on me? And the thing is, I also kind of have a crush on him, but I know that I'm currently going through this whole um, crushing on everyone phase. Like, there's another person that I there are just a lot of people that I currently like have a crush on, and I don't want to lead them on or anything. Um,
No, it's
because
good you
like I said,
realize
I know
that.
what.
It's good that you realize that, how you're feeling and you don't want to lead anybody on and you don't want to hurt anybody else, and at this point too, Jane, you need to. This is another reason why I say you need to go at least 2 weeks or 3 weeks without talking to Joe at all. Okay, because when you do that, you'll understand better. You'll have more clarity on what that relationship means to you, right? Even though you say you broke up, you're not truly broke up. You guys are constantly talking to each other and empathizing with each other and supporting each other, right?
Yeah,
You guys talk about how you're broken up, but you're not truly broken up because you haven't let go of each other yet. So it's not
yeah,
really a
it's
real breakup.
because we don't want to have like a complete like fallout, if that makes sense. We wanted to go back to being friends.
Hmm.
That feels a bit harder than we thought, and
Yeah, I put out recent videos on why, if you really have strong feelings for somebody, why you should never agree to just be friends. You need a clean breakup. Have you seen those videos in my channel?
um I haven't seen them completely, but I have seen like a bit of the things. It's just that it's because it's something that, to be honest, I'm probably just very not really want to be open to losing him as a friend.
Right.
Um, and
I
he,
I understand it's hard. Okay, I understand it's not easy. I encourage you to watch. It's like a 30-minute video where I explain. I kind of draw it out. I kind of explain in great detail why, if you've going through a breakup and they want to be friends, or even if you want to be friends, why being friends is a really bad idea, and why in the long run it's going to lead to harder times and more hurt for both of you. Okay, so I would encourage you to watch that video. I made that video for a reason. I think it has over 1,000 views now. Definitely check that video out. I explain, I draw it out, I kind of look at and explain to you why being friends with somebody that you've broken up with is a very, very bad idea. And definitely give that video a watch, hon, and see what you think of that. See if that makes better sense. But you definitely need some time away from this guy. And I would not rush into a relationship with anybody else either, because I know it's hard to be alone, especially after you've been in a situation where every day you've been talking to this guy, and you've had him in your life. It's really, by going through a breakup and not talking to him anymore, it's going to be a void. It's going to feel like you're empty inside. So it's going to be really tempting to reach out to Joe and talk to him, or it's also going to be really tempting to get involved with somebody else, right, that you're crushing on, if you per se. I would encourage you to take a couple weeks of not doing either. If you want to crush and you want to flirt with other guys, that's fine. That's one thing, but don't get seriously involved with anybody, okay? Because you need
oh,
time to process and heal from what's happened with Joe, right? And this is going to be the best thing for you. So I know this isn't what you want to hear, right? But you reached out to me, Jane, because you wanted to know my opinion and you wanted my advice. Okay. And I promise you that if you give yourself at least 2 weeks, I mean, not less, at least 2 weeks to process and not talk to this guy and evaluate everything that's gone on, I promise you that you'll have a lot more clarity. You're going to feel better about whatever happens, whatever you decide to do, whether you decide to go back with him or whether you decide to move on. Uh, you're going to feel better about things. You're probably going to thank me, even though I understand that what I'm telling you now is not at all what you want to hear. You're probably wanting me to tell you how to fix it, and I think you should, get closer to him, and how to make it magically fix itself and make your mom approve of the relationship. You're wanting to hear all these magical things that
mm,
I just can't tell you. I'm giving you
my
honest advice. So go ahead.
my mom has actually recently, um, well, not really recently, but like actually like at the last couple of moments, she actually kind of like started accepting him. But a bit on the late side.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That makes it more difficult, especially when you're going through a breakup and you're trying to get over this guy, but uh, you're trying to go through a breakup with this guy, and now all of a sudden your mom starts liking him more or whatever. And,
oh, she
and
still doesn't talk about him, but she said,
yeah,
"Oh, well,
it may just seem like she's being more open to him, maybe because he's not such a big part of your life. So, uh, maybe she's a little bit more accepting of what's going on and the fact that you've known him for so long and he's still part of your life. And he, part of it maybe that she's because you live with her, right?
Yeah, my mom said, to be more exact, I really hope that I'm wrong, because I was crying, and she was like, "Well, I really hope that um, part of me was that I was wrong about him, and that if he is so important to you, that you'll get back together, and that I was wrong with him
Mm,
about him."
okay.
And um, but about the whole 2 week thing,
Mm,
my ex, he actually told me when we were in the call, he said like, "Do you know why I have been started working more?" And I said, "Well, because you wanted to caught up and because you have a lot more to do." He said, "Well, that as well, but the main thing is I'm trying to distract myself from you." Um, and that got me really confused. And e- um, an even worse part was that he, during that conversation, which I actually had with him today, he started kind of like getting a bit, not necessarily tearing, but there was definitely his body language. You could tell that he was kind of
comfortable.
about to cry.
About to cry. Sure.
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
So what I'm telling you here, Jane, is exactly how he's feeling as well. So he understands that he needs to not obsess over you and not think about you in this breakup. He understands inside that you guys need time and space, right? But he doesn't want to do it, and he keeps reaching out to you, and he keeps leaning on you as a support. And this is kind of where I'm talking about. It's not he's not really being fair to you, right? Because he keeps reaching out, he keeps sending you pictures, he keeps telling you he's sad, he keeps telling you and talking to you when he understands he needs to get busy in his life. He needs to give this time. He needs to give you time to process this breakup you're going through. Right now, you guys are just swirling around and around and around, and nothing's happening, and festering. Right? Everything's festering. You don't have any clarity. You're not sure that you want him back in your life as a boyfriend and a serious relationship. He doesn't know that either. And you guys are not ever going to know this. You guys aren't going to get this clarity you need, either one of you, until you actually give yourself some distance apart from each other. And at this point, that's exactly what both of you need. Getting back together right now with with everything that happened before is not going to be uh, of any value to either one of you because you're still going to have those problems, right? So you need to give each other space. And then if both of you, if you talk together, the first of the year and you guys have a talk and you guys both feel the same that you want to try again, then that would be a point where you would maybe want to try again and start slow and try starting a new relationship and, with the understanding and, you would understand that you mean a whole lot more to him and you mean a whole lot more to him. But you're not, either one of you are going to understand that until you actually get some space of not talking, of not being in each other's life every single day. Okay, you need to understand as well with the space. So another reason the space is important for you is because Jane, you need to understand that this Joe guy, kind of like you talk about how you're crushing on different people and you feel bad about it or whatever. You need to understand completely, in both logically and emotionally, both ways, that Joe is not the only man out there in this world for you. Joe is not the only possible man who could make you happy. Joe is not the only man that would be interested in you. Okay? There are millions of fish in the sea. There are probably lots of men out there that would fit you a lot better, that wouldn't leave you so confused, that wouldn't be so difficult, right? So a relationship should flow very naturally. It shouldn't be constantly um, a lot of, I'm not saying there's not going to be arguments. There's going to be arguments, especially in a long distance relationship. There's going to be insecurity issues. There's going to be trust issues. There's going to be a lot of things you can talk about. But you guys have broken up several times, right? Or at least a couple of times, and you haven't got to the point back where you're ready to get back together because you still, neither one of you have that clarity to know that you're right for each other, right? How many times has he told you, I don't know that I can make you happy. I don't know that this is the right thing for you. I want you to be happy, and I don't know that I can give that to you, et cetera, et cetera. So, if you continue to try to have this relationship, you continue to talk to him, you're just going to continue to do this daily cycle, and that's the worst thing for you. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. Worst thing for him. If you care about him, give him space. Give yourself
Yeah.
space. Okay.
The last thing,
Go ahead.
the last thing that he said before we ended the call was, um, if you want this to happen, um, then I would need some time to sort my head out and
Exactly.
figure out if this is actually, now that I think about it, that's almost very similar to what you said, because he
Hmm.
said, figure out if this is what you really want and figure out if this is what I really want.
Right.
Um, but he kind of used,
You kind of
I
use
don't
what?
know, he he used different arguments of like why he would need time. Um, not necessarily referring to, the breakup stuff or something like that, but more about like, um, because he says, I feel like you don't know exactly how miserable your life is going to be with me because I'm a miserable person,
Wow.
which he has been in a depression for like 12 years, according to him.
Right.
And um, definitely from the way that he acts, I am not saying that he's over the top depressed or something all the time. I'm just saying that I do notice that, um,
Jane, this, okay. So the more you talk, the more you talk about him and everything like that, the less I think this is the right guy for you. Okay. Um, he's trying to fill a depression that he has with a 17-year-old, much younger lady. And this is extremely unfair to you, right? There is no way. And I understand you want to be his hero. You want to be, maybe not his hero, but you want to be there for him and you want to help make him happy. I understand that desire to be there for him and to help him through his depression and make him happier. But there's only one person that can help him, that can get him through his depression, and that's him. Okay. So he needs to work on himself and get himself out of that depression. He's told you everything I'm telling you, that you need space and time. Okay. So I need you to respect him and give him that space and time. So if he reaches out to you and he talks to you or texts you or calls you or whatever, you need to stop responding to him for at least 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. I know this is not going to be easy to do, but you need to say, hey, you told me a while back that you needed time, that we needed time, that you even said, I need time. Basically, say this to him. He said that you need time to make sure that he can make you happy. Neither of you are getting that opportunity to get that space you need to figure that out when you're in constant communication. So that has to stop. If you want to reach out to him and explain all this to him, then you do that. But you say, look, I'm not talking to you again until the year 2021. Please don't talk to me anymore again because this is what you even requested, right? So this really should really be a lot more on him than it is you because he's an adult, right? And he keeps basically toying with your emotions and toying with your heart and trying to lean on you as a crutch when he should be doing exactly what he told you a while back that he wanted to do, that he wanted time to figure out if you were right for him and to give you time to figure out if you're right for him. But I can tell you right now, this guy's a completely wrong guy for you, Jane. Okay, he's depressed. He's going through a lot of different problems. He's way older than you. He lives a long ways away from you. This is a long distance relationship. The chances of you and him working out are so fractionally small that is not even worth pursuing. But even if everything else was straight, even if the age was okay, even if you guys could do a long distance relationship, which are extremely difficult to do, the fact that he's told you that he's depressed, right? That means he probably needs to seek counseling and seek help. Sounds like he probably doesn't love himself. If he can't love himself, if he is depressed, he can't look to you to fill that void. He can't look to you to give him what you can't possibly give him. It's not fair to him and it's not fair to you. Okay. So until
Right.
he's at a point where he's not depressed anymore, until he's at a point where he's happy in his life and content and loves himself, he can't possibly give you what you need. He can't possibly love you. I don't care how many times he might have said it. Okay. If somebody can't love themselves, if somebody is that depressed, they can't possibly give you what you. Okay.
But I
So
don't really,
I'm
to
sorry.
be honest, I don't really care about me being all right because despite everything, I was fine with the relationship, even though I knew all the difficulties that he was facing. It was not really, of course, I would feel bad for him, but it's not really that I minded that too much. It's just that I don't know. I know like all the difficulties that he's going through, and I know that um how those difficulties will affect me. But I've told him a couple of times that I'm more than open to face the consequences that that would leave on my mental health. And I don't really, because before um I met him, I well way before I um met him, I was going through something that I don't really necessarily want to call a depression, but I think it's quite close.
Okay.
Um, and I was feeling a lot of extreme sadness for quite a while, 2 years actually. And after that, I felt numb, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't feel sad. I couldn't feel happy. I could feel nothing
How
with
come?
emotional.
What led to this 2 years of depression? Do you think?
My entire class wished me dead.
What? What?
Sounds a
Why?
bit extreme, but that's basically what happened. And the thing is, the story of me getting into a depression is a really weird and confusing one. Um, because we were like first year of high school, and it was just um, we had this stupid thing because this person wanted for his birthday to be his standing up from the. Oh, this is all going to sound like a joke, but it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or well, it was. It's my my depression was created through a joke. Um,
Wow.
yeah, he wanted to stand up from the dead, so he would die and get like a potion from Albert Einstein from hell. A lot of yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but thing is, they started pretending that I was dead, um, and that I murdered him. And after that, I got a little bit sick of people ignoring me because this is something that actually went on for way too long that I could handle. And
Jeez.
um, it was also like affecting, like if I wanted to ask someone about school things, they would ignore me because, oh, I was a ghost, I was dead because I had a lower grade than someone,
What?
even though I had the highest grades of the class. Um, and then I admitted to having um, that when I admitted to who I thought were my friends at the time, that was actually making me really um, almost like I don't want to say like I don't want to say suicidal, but having those thoughts, it was giving me those thoughts, and with that they were like, um, actually, like at first they were like they couldn't believe it, but after that they were starting to talk about me as if I was a freak.
Okay.
Saying like, "Oh yeah, she's like crazy. She has these and these thoughts," and
Oh no.
they were like, I was basically like shut off from the entire class, and everyone had like a negative opinion about me quite quickly because the friends that I had were the popular kids in my class.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Jane,
um,
so you're still in school, right?
yeah,
Okay. It's still going on?
not really. The thing is, um, I was because I had way better grades than everyone else. I was allowed to move to a different class. That being said, because they were popular kids, also those classes had heard the stories about me,
Okay.
and but they were like, luckily the kids in those class were like, because they said like, oh yeah, we actually heard those stories, but we thought we don't know you yet, and we shouldn't judge you for before we got to know you. And they said that they were glad that they didn't judge me because it turned out to be quite all right. Um, but that being said, that didn't just made me feeling sad the entire time or wordless just pop away, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Um, so even though the source or the problem was gone, the thing I was still feeling sad, and that just took a bit of time before that got better.
Okay. With this, if any kids continue to taunt you or troll you, is what's basically or bully you is exactly what this is. About you being dead or you know any of this stuff that you're talking about that has basically sent you into depression. This is excessive trolling. This is cruel, and this is bullying going on at your school. Okay, so you need to get other people involved. You need to get adults involved. If this continues with anybody at your school, Jane, you need to go to your principal and you need to explain to your principal everything you just told me. Okay, I want to make myself perfectly clear. This isn't something that I can help you with physically, not physically, but emotionally. All right, I'm not a therapist. Okay, so you may need counseling for this. So the first step though is if this continues, you need to go to your principal and you need to tell them exactly what you told me, and you need to also, and I want you to write this down if you have. You need to ask your principal as well if there's any kind of counseling available for you to talk to somebody like a professional counselor in your area at the
I
school.
mean,
A lot of schools have counselors. Have you been to counseling yet about this?
yeah, well, they don't call it like counseling in the Netherlands, but they call it like a trust person, basically.
Okay.
And they'll find
Hmm.
like one of the teachers that have been um, who have like know how to deal with those things.
Hmm.
Um, uh, well, um, the thing is, um, I had, but I'm not worried about that anymore because that's like in my past. And the thing is,
Okay.
because our school system works a bit different. You have different levels. And I'm doing HAVO, and they were doing MAVO, which is slightly below HAVO. Um, but our school didn't provide like the last 2 years of HAVO, so now I'm currently in a different school. Um, same, they're not necessarily completely different schools. They still have the same um, things and stuff. So it was all so basically everyone who had to do the first 3 years of HAVO
Hmm.
in my old school moved with me. But the
Okay.
thing is, because they were all doing MAFO, I don't have to deal with them anymore. And the thing is, it's as soon as I was already left their class, um, or at least like the next year, everyone kind of forgot about things. So I haven't had like problems with that specifically ever since.
Okay. Well, that's good. So let me ask you this, Jane. I want you to think about this for a moment before you answer. When you got involved with Joe, as we call him, right? Did that help with your depression, as you just talked about?
I mean, after my depression, there followed a numbness where I wasn't happy, but I wasn't sad either. Like I could hear the worst things about um, my family that should worry me, but I just didn't feel anything. Like I got contacted like this, and this family member has these and these diseases, and they might die any moment.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I should be worried, but where are my worries? Where are my sadness? Where's my concern? It was nowhere. It was just like, oh,
So you just felt like you were numb to everything, right?
yeah, didn't care. Um,
You're talking about like when he was explaining to you like people that he was working with dying and stuff like that. He was like, "Oh, big deal," right?
no, but no, because as soon as I started talking to him and when we got into a relationship, that numbness
Mm-hmm.
went away.
Okay, right.
And I think that's one thing that and I know that's probably ridiculous or stupid,
No,
but
not at all.
I guess I'm kind of afraid that that numbness would go away as well because I literally felt numb and then an emotional roller coaster. And to be honest, I'll prefer the emotional roller coaster over the numbness.
Sure, understandable. Okay,
It's giving life contrasts
okay.
instead
So
of just
let me explain something and what I'm understanding really as well as I can here. Okay. So you went through 2 years of depression where you were feeling this numbness from the way that other kids were treating you and talking about these things that have really sent you depression, and you felt numb, right? And then you meet
mm,
this guy Joe online and get involved with him, and suddenly he seems to take away the basically bullying that you're feeling from so many of your fellow students at school. He's taken that away because he actually values you, and that's a good feeling for you. And so, like, that's exactly why he was able to getting involved with him was able to take away some of that numbness because it felt good to you to suddenly be appreciated, especially by a man. Oh my God, this man is working. He has a kid. He's in his 30s. Oh my God, it feels really good to you to feel appreciated like that. I mean, him appreciating you and seeing value in you probably was able to knock off and completely make you not feel that numbness or the pain from multiple kids at school because I mean this is a grown man. He's worth many students at my school that are just being little douchebags, right? So it felt really good. And then when things start going wrong or you start having debates or disagreements or arguments or whatever with Joe over line, then things started getting confusing and things sometimes hurt. Sometimes your heartache feels fluctuates, but mostly just leaving you confused. And you're scared to death that if you do this breakup and you're probably if you do the time that I'm telling you need to do, as far as being away from him, you're scared to death that numbness that you felt before meeting him is going to come back. Would that be fair?
yeah. I mean, I have met like someone in between meeting him and the numbness, but I guess the main difference is that the emotions that I felt in this relationship were much more stronger than I felt in the previous one.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess that also shows in contact because the previous relationship that I had was also a long distance relationship because apparently I like British people.
Right.
Um, but yeah, this other person, broke up with me. Um, but he still really wanted to be friends. Um, but I I was up for that, but I I mean I know that he usually doesn't contact first
Hmm.
because he is very introverted, but I never got like any response from my first ex. And I did contact him one time and he just bombarded me with a lot of different messages of how he seemed very excited to talk to me. But that was like Yeah. But the thing is, it wasn't as extreme as the relationship that I have right now, because this relationship is like really making me feel emotions that haven't felt for such a long time.
Sure. These are
Um,
emotions you don't need right now, Jane. The emotions that he's trying to make you feel. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Okay, you want my advice. Okay, I want you to understand that you don't need a relationship right now to be happy or to not feel numb. Okay, so for the same reason this guy, this Joe guy is seeking you out to try to fill the void that already talked about with his depression that he's dealing with. He's trying to fill a void, and I talked about how that's unfair to you. He's trying to fill a void and try to be happier in his depression by filling that in with you or this long distance relationship with you. It sounds like you're also filling in using him to fill in a void, to not feel numb from everything that's happened to you at school, and to feel these emotions that you talk about you haven't felt in a long time. Okay, Jane, and I understand this. This probably sounds like I'm an older guy. And stuff you don't want to hear. But do you have friends? Do you have female friends there in your local school or in your local area that you ever hang out with?
um, I mean, I have one friend, but it's like not really like the type of friends that I sit next to at school, but don't really have any contact with outside of school.
Okay. So you don't have any
Uh,
friends in your life. You don't have any female friends that you like to hang with, like female friends that non-relationship friends, whether it be a guy or a girl, right? Whether they be
yeah,
online, obviously if they're local, it would be better. You should have friends at 17 years old. And that's kind of
I have
sad that you
online
don't.
friends.
I'm sorry.
I have a lot of different online friends.
Okay. What I want you to
Um,
focus on here is, and I want you to hear me, okay? I want you to talk to this Joe guy, and I want you to tell him, hey, we're doing a breakup. We're not able to break up. Or you mentioned that he mentioned you guys need time to think about things. Think about what you guys want, if you're happy or not, and that's going to take time and time away from contact. Quit talking to him all the time. You need at least, like I said, 2 weeks. Wait till the first of the year. See how you feel with no more contact. Let him know that you're doing no contact, and if he messages you, let him know you're going to block him, right? Until the first of the year. I mean it. So you need to do this for yourself. You wanted my advice. This is my advice to you. Also, during this time, I don't want you getting involved with anybody else. Okay, anybody else that you're crushing on. You want to crush, you want to flirt, that's fine, but I don't want you getting seriously involved with anybody else until at least the first of the year either. You need time. You probably need a lot more time than just until the first of 2021, to be honest. But I want you to take at minimum until the first of the year of not communicating with your ex, not talking or getting involved with anybody else. If you have friends online, if you have friends locally that you can spend time with, what I want you to do, Jane, is focus on just having fun. Okay, doing what you enjoy. I also want you to focus on school. I want you to focus on your school work, right? I want you to focus on not these other guys. I want you to focus on you. You. Okay. I want you to focus on having fun right now, whether that's be playing games, whether that's connecting with somebody and playing a game with them, whether that's, having a long conversation, talking to someone, not about relationships, not in a relationship. I'm talking about just talking to shoot the shit and telling jokes and maybe watching movies, maybe watching TV together, maybe enjoying music together. There's lots of, places and avenues for you to go about working on you just enjoying life without somebody else serious in your life. You're 17, hun. You don't need to be so serious about anybody right now. There's a million different options out there for you, but right now, you need to work on you and being happy, not with anybody else, but all by yourself. You need to work on. I want you to be able to smile every day when you get up, not because somebody else is in your life. I want you to be able to smile because you realize you're a great young woman, because you have a good head on your shoulder, because you have a great heart, and because you're a good person, right? I want you to be able to wake up and smile every single day before you ever get involved with anybody else in your life. That's what I want you to do. Okay.
Well, I have had moments where we were we were in like a breakup, but like even during the breakup, there were moments where I was really happy.
Okay.
Wasn't thinking too much about him, but so it's kind of like, do I really need that time to not
Yes.
contact him at all?
Yes, you do. I want you to work on being happy alone. I want you to work on understanding that you're a great woman. You don't need a relationship with a 34-year-old, from the UK, right? I want you to understand that you don't need that to be complete. Okay, you are complete all by yourself, and I need you to understand that you can be happy all by yourself. And when you understand that each and every day, that you are fine, that you are great, that you are happy, and that you are strong. When you understand that each and every day and you're not looking for somebody else to fill an emptiness or to avoid being numb, then and only then should you look at maybe getting interested in dating anybody, this Joe guy or anybody else. Okay. This is a process that's going to take time. This isn't something you're going to fix overnight. You're not going to fix this in 2 hours and be able to call Joe back and say, "Hey, I'm ready to move on in a relationship, babe." No, this is going to take you time, girl. Okay. I
I
want you. I want you to work on you. Okay. I want you to work on you being happy. I want you to work on um, feeling complete yourself, feeling not numb. Okay. We need to get away from that numbness. We need to understand that you're a great person, that you're not dead, that you're not killing people, that you're not none of this stuff that people are trolling you about. I want you to understand you're a great woman. You're a great young woman. You can be happy. And you don't need this relationship with a 34-year-old from, that you're probably, let's be honest, you're probably never going to meet him, right? Probably never going to meet this guy. So why waste time? Right? Why waste time dealing with his emotions? Why waste time dealing with his depression? And especially in a relationship kind of way.
well, because I care about him.
I understand. I understand. And that's fine that you care about him. But like I said, if you care about him, give him time. Give him the time that he's already told you. He's already told you
Um,
this. You just talked about it. He needs time to think about it. Respect him. And if you care about him, give him that time he needs. And care about yourself and give yourself you're the time you need as well. You're not doing that by being a constant communication.
but I'm kind of scared how he would react if I talk to him about it because
Is why.
I don't know, because I never know what triggers this person.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
I know.
Doesn't matter. You need to tell him anyway. He's a grown man. Okay. If he lashes back at you and he calls you every name in the book or he gets mad at you, then that shows you how immature he is and how that just going to show you and prove to you that, hey, this guy is 34 years old. He's not even as mature as I am. He can't handle this. If he can't handle that, whatever he says, if he says, "I'm going to kill myself," if he says, if he lashes out at you, whatever, if he handles this bad, it shows you that he was a bad choice for you in a relationship anyway, right? So you should not be scared of that. I understand you're being scared of going back to the numbness and going back to, every day without him and the loneliness and everything like that. I understand that's scary. But if you're genuinely scared of how he's going to react or what might push his button, then all that
Well,
does is tell me that he's the wrong guy for you again.
it's not anger, it's more that I'm afraid that I'm going to make him worry about things. And I really don't think that he would be able to handle more worry in
He
his
can't.
already stressful life. He has like both Asperger's as well. He has like a load of different problems, which now that I'm thinking about it, I
Jane,
probably
this isn't
wasn't
your
very.
problem. This isn't your problem. His depression isn't something that when you met him, he was already depressed. Asperger's disease.
Yeah,
This is something that is not your concern. It's not your problem. You didn't create these things for him, and you shouldn't have to worry about it. Okay? You are a long ways away from him anyway. You're 17, right? These are issues that you should have no guilt about because you didn't make him have these conditions. You didn't make him depressed, right? And if you want to do the right thing for him, you need to do exactly what I said and do exactly what he said. He needs time. Give him that. Quit responding to him. Okay? I'm telling you what to do. I can't obviously make you do what I'm telling you. You're going to do what you're going to do. But you reached out to me for my advice, and I'm giving you my advice, not only for his sake, but for your own sake. So quit worrying about things that you had no control over, like his depression and how he's going to react, and his Asperger's and everything else, right? He's basically told you he needs time. Give that to him. Hey,
Yeah,
you need to be
I
the mature one here and quit reaching out to him and quit contacting him, quit responding to him. Okay? And I'm telling you, I'm giving you good advice here, but what you do with it is you. I would encourage you to watch the video I made on the friends and why friends can't work out if you still have strong feelings. That's about a 32-minute video. I'd encourage you to watch that. But more importantly, I would encourage you, and this is exactly why I told you that we should do a video about this. I encourage you to watch this video with your mother. See if your mother agrees with your advice.
I'll
Talk to your
commit
mother.
to 2 weeks into 2.5.
Yeah, until the first of the year. Yeah. Let him know that you're not going to respond to him or talk to him until the first of the year. Okay? And then if he continues to talk to you and send you messages or call you or whatever, you're going to block him. That's exactly what you need to do. You guys both need time. He's told you this as well. Okay? But he hasn't been adult enough to do it. Okay? He's trying to use you as a crutch for his own depression, for his own whatever. It's not helping either. So I need you to be the adult here. I need you to do what he's asked you for as well when he broke up with you, and actually do the breakup. Get some clarity. So you guys can both get clarity on what you guys both want. If he's going to be in your life, Jane, that's fine. But you want to be sure that he wants you, right? You want to be sure he's sure about it. And going the way you're going now, you're never going to have that clarity. He's never going to have that clarity, and you're never going to know if he's really sure about you. Give him the space. Let him figure out himself if he wants you. Give yourself that space as well, so you heal, so you can learn that you're a great woman by yourself and you don't need him. You. I promise you, you don't. You do not need him. Okay, and you see that off the space. So go watch that Friends video that I made, Jane. I have to get on with my day, but I do want to thank you for reaching out and telling me your story. I'm here for you if you want to reach out again, but give it a couple of days. Let me know how things are going if you want to. But do what I asked you to do. Talk to your mom about this. Watch this video with your mom right here. Watch that Friends video, why you can't be friends with someone you have intense feelings for. I think it'll help you out. I think it'll help you understand. It's like a 32-minute video. So those are there for you. But I want you to lean on your mother more than you're leaning on me. Do not lean on him. Give him space. Do not talk to him. You're going to lean on somebody. I want you to lean on your mother.
Even after the breakup, he was my go-to for emotional problems.
Yep, I want you to turn that into your mother for the next couple weeks. Your mother, like I said from the start, your mother loves you and cares about you much, much more than this guy does. I promise you that. I promise you. And I understand it's not sexy. It's not fun to say, hey, mom loves and cares about me more than a guy. Obviously, a guy is sexier and more appealing and makes you feel better and all that. But your mother cares about you and loves you way, way, way more than this guy does. So I want you to lean on her, not him. You're not responding to him. You're giving him what he asked for when the breakup happened and that space to figure things out. So give him that. Give yourself that time as well. You both need it desperately. Okay?
Okay. Well,
right,
thanks
Jade.
for talking.
No problem. That's what I'm here for. And I'm glad I was able to go ahead and have you kind of talk it out. I'm glad I was hopefully able to give you advice that you can heed my advice and take it to heart and understand that I'm really trying to about a better path. And if you do what I'm telling you, if you lean on your mother, don't talk to him until the first of the year, I think you're going to thank me. Okay? I think you're going to be able to breathe a lot deeper. You're going to be able to smile. You're going to thank me come 2021. Okay?
Okay.
All right, sweetheart. Yeah, so have a great holiday. Thanks so much for for telling me and everybody that watches this video what's going on in your life so that I could help you out and so that I could give you my best advice. Lean on your mother. Your mother's right there. I guarantee you, your mother wants you to talk to her. Talk to your mom. All right? ask your mom to watch
Yeah.
this video with you and see if she agrees with on the advice I gave you. Okay, see what all right,
Okay.
Jane. I know that I've told you things that probably make you want to cry inside, and that's fine. If
Yeah.
you if
Well.
you if you need to cry, if you need to let it out, that's fine. But I need you to move on. I need you to get that clarity. I need you to talk to him and say, hey, you're not responding anymore. You're not talking to him anymore. You're giving him the time he even asked for. And if he continues to message you and talk to you, that you're going to block him. Do that.
Well. That is definitely something that I kind of don't want to do, but I can understand that that's probably for the best.
It is for the best. Yep. I'm giving you good advice, so I hope you take it. Again, you're going to do what
Yeah,
you're going to do. But
but
I go ahead.
I will probably um wait until I'll tell him in voice chats,
Okay.
explain the things.
Don't let him persuade you otherwise. You know what you need to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Be strong. Be strong. Do what you need to do. Do what I told you to do. It's going to be best, and I promise you, you'll thank me later.